In our previous 2 episodes of Welcome to the Rock, we learned about the history of the FDNY Training Academy. But more importantly, we learned about how the FDNY honors its history, how it honors its fallen, how the Rock will never let the members of the FDNY, both new and old, forget where they come from. We learned that it is a multifaceted, world-class training facility as well, built for a career's worth of knowledge. Let's dive a little further in this episode and learn what more the Rock has to offer.
All right, guys, so here we are at the Tommy Bone Pavilion. Chief, tell us all about this.
So as you guys know, you had the pleasure of knowing Tommy. I had the pleasure of working with him in Squad 270, just an amazingly talented individual. So we built a pavilion in his honor. He died in 2014, unfortunately, but he was the chief architect and builder of the collapse simulator that you see here, which is dedicated to the 3 members that we lost on Father's Day, Ford, Downing, and Fahey, which we just passed the 20th anniversary of that. So our members that train in collapse in confined space are able to go in there and simulate that, right? You guys have been in there.
We've been in there numerous times. These are containers, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Tommy Bone was just an unbelievable talent, right? What he could do. So this is the pavilion that they built for him, and this is I love this pavilion. I love everything about it, and the genesis of the Probie Pavilion was we wanted a pavilion. The Probie Pavilion is a bigger, fancier version of this pavilion, but under here the Probies will come out, stay out of the weather, maybe when they're doing checking their PSS or they're doing some other, just to stay out of the elements, or when the members are using the confined space simulator. Likewise, they'll sit there underneath to stay out of the elements. So that's it's now the baby brother to the Probie Pavilion. Right. But not to be forgotten, right? I'm showing you a lot of the specialty things that we're doing here, but today we're not burning at the Fire Academy today, but our bread and butter operations really happen in these buildings, right? So as you guys are aware, right? Our taxpayer, our tenement, and our mixed occupancy building here, so we can't forget the basics, right? All the stuff that we're doing. We'll certainly have to have you guys here again when we're actually doing some live burns and get you into that. But let's take you over to the Fire Academy video production unit, and we'll talk about that in our remote tactical training.
Great.
All right, so gentlemen, here we are at Mount Rushmore. What that has to do with firefighting, I don't know. But actually, guys, where are we? So we're in building 15, which is connected to building 20 at the Fire Academy. So you can see the green screen here, right in the background. So we could put in any background that we want, right? So
I could be in the Bahamas.
You could be in the Bahamas.
Pete, put me in the Bahamas.
You're in the Bahamas.
All right, we're back.
Come back. So here we are. This used to be the ERP classroom, right? So pandemic began, and we had a transition to what we were doing, and we created the video production unit, and they took this building over. We made a couple of sound editing studios in there that are soundproof. We really invested a lot of money and talent into getting this to what it is today. So they shut down training, and we used the pandemic to say, okay, what are we going to do? How do we continue training when they had shut training down? How do we continue this? So we leverage technology, and we do a lot of videos here. We also have our remote tactical training now, so that's done typically at a location somewhere. This month we're doing car fires right in our backlot studio here, but we could go on location and we could do anything we want on that. And what we do is we broadcast twice a day at 10:30 and 11:30, Monday through Thursday, into firehouses. So the units are in service. They're closer to, they're in their response area.
Off the computer.
So they just sign into WebEx.
Right.
And they watch this, and we basically 15-20 minutes we deliver the training, and then we're out of them out of there.
So is it scheduled? Do they know that the training is coming?
It's scheduled. They're on the training schedule, so it's different than just saying, here, watch this video when you have time.
Right.
Because no one ever has time.
Yeah, well, they used to come out here at that scheduled time, but now they're
so we still have hands-on training that comes out here, but this is to facilitate, enhance the training that we're getting in the field.
Eliminate out of lemons, took the COVID, and you made this whole.
And you went to Mount Rushmore.
And in seconds, right? And then you went to the Bahamas, and you didn't take
us. You made something positive out of a negative, which moving forward ups the game in training, right?
Yeah. So out of any tragedy, there's an opportunity to make to come up with something better. And that's what we did with the pandemic. We leveraged the technology. You don't want to squander that opportunity. And we used it to make training better. Because the bottom line is, you could eliminate training, you could cut the training budget and not train for a year, maybe 2 years, maybe even the third year you'll get away with it. But eventually, you're going to pay it back with dividends, and that's going to be in line of duty injuries and deaths and civilian injuries and deaths. And, quantifying that, right? So if the uniform isn't making sure that we advocate for the continuation of training and coming up with any method that we can to continue training, then simply we're not doing our job. Interestingly enough, when we go into the firehouse for the 15 to 20 minutes, we then talk to people in the firehouses and they continue the conversation. So we just give them the idea, right? Yeah. So the first one we did was last June, and we were at 136 and 287 in the 4-6 battalion. They had a taxpayer. And we went and did a roll down, right down the block from 288. We did a roll down, we cut a roll down gate. And it was fantastic. But we had units that said, well, I would have cut the gate this way. That's okay.
That's what you want to talk about.
I want you to have that conversation. There's many different ways to cut a roll down gate.
Has different ways and different things they do.
Yeah. So it's a focused training. Like I said, we're doing the car fires and car accidents outside. We did one on Queen. The Queens units were in the audience the other day. That night, we had a van fire next to a building that extended to the building. Right. So, tactical relevance to your very next run. Right. And just raising the bar a little bit for the training that we're doing.
Well, the whole idea is, the bottom line is, if you're going to run a drill, the only way it's going to stick to guys is if it's real life, right? I mean, in the end, you don't want to just pull out a book and start reading out of a book. There's different ways to drill and get people motivated, but
and these are, that's exactly right. And these are, they're not overproduced videos because they're live, right? It's just, this is it, man. So if there's an error, where it's
kind of like us.
It's happening. Yeah, exactly. It's happening live. You don't know what. You never know what's going to happen when you're going live. Yeah, and then we take them and we edit them, and we'll make small tips from trainings, a minute, 2 minutes long, and we take some of the best content, edit it, and put that onto our learning management platform, which we've greatly enhanced in recent times. So
great idea.
Yeah,
this was yours, of course.
It takes a team.
Oh,
it takes
I like
a team.
it. I like it.
So the one thing we have, the Fire Academy has, for as long as I know, we've had world-class instructors, and we need to make sure that we're utilizing everything and leveraging everything we can, and technology is a big part of that, to make sure that the delivery of our training is just as world-class as our instructors are, and that's what we're doing, marrying them together to give us great training.
All right, there is no I in team.
There is no I in team.
But there is a me.
With that said,
it's going to be huge.
So let's go to the military area of the Fire Academy. Talk about no I in team. They are the definition of team. So let's go talk about. Let's head over there.
Let's go.
All right. So as we're walking from Building 15 over to the Military Memorial, I couldn't let you pass by one of my favorite, most poignant memorials that we have here, September 11th. As you know, we have over 50 memorials to September 11th here alone, and this is Stephen Siller, who, as you know, was a firefighter in Squad 1, who he was killed on September 11th. He grabbed his gear, was trying to go through the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel. He couldn't, so he took his gear and ran through it. So, the 3 mile trek. But when we look at this, to me, so Stephen Siller is one, but he represents many. So, because every name of the 343 firefighters that we lost on that day are on the base of this pedestal. So, he epitomizes everything it is to be a New York City firefighter, right? He was in shape, he was dedicated to the job, he was off duty, his dedication to service, and now what his family has done with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, right? So, it's just, to me, I pass this multiple times every day, and I look at it and think about what it means all the time. So, like I said, I just couldn't pass by this. I know you guys would certainly like to, the story of it, but to me, how this one represents many is just really powerful. To me, just an incredible monument.
Again,
just an amazing individual.
The probies who are, doing chin-ups right there and working out right there, and they see this, it's got to add to, what's expected and how dedicated you have to be.
That there's no I in team, right? But he's one that represents everybody. So the fact that the names of everybody else is on here, to me is just a powerful dedication, and it even says it, right? Dedicated to the spirit and service of the members, not of one member, of the members of the FDNY.
This is pretty fact.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right, where we headed? Our last
We're gonna,
stop.
yeah, we're gonna, unless we get detoured again, we're gonna head to the military section of the fire
All right,
academy.
let's do it.
Next up, our fourth and final installment of the Welcome to the Rock series with a special interview you're not going to want to miss, so stay tuned.